Gather round. Gather round the table, everyone. Dinner is served.
Thanksgiving is about the town and residents of Plymouth, Massachusetts, being terrorized by a masked assailant dressed as the famous pilgrim John Carver, who is out revenge killing seemingly random people 1 year after a local Black Friday riot ended in tragedy. But as the victims get picked off one by one, it's soon discovered that there may be a more nefarious plan at work.
There will be no leftovers!
Thanksgiving debuted in 2023, but originally it was part of a collection of fake trailers that were created for the 2007 double feature film Grindhouse. And the popularity of that trailer created demand, and after 16 years, Eli Roth finally made this long-awaited film. And you know, it's a lot of fun too. It's a tongue-in-cheek horror film that is part of this recent revitalization of the slasher genre, and I gotta say, it was well worth the wait. And in Thanksgiving, there are a total of 12 kills, 8 of which are committed by Eric Newlon, aka the John Carver Killer. And I have to say that this is going to be one of the harder rankings that I have to do because there are no off-screen kills, and all of them are pretty gnarly, but you know, it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it, and I will try my best. But before we get into the ranking, let's just quickly go over the rules. We all know them by now. Any off-screen kill, which there's none in this movie, will be dead last, and any killing of any animals will also be last, which thankfully there are none. And one kill you won't see in this ranking is Eric Newlon, simply because there was no body at the end of this movie, so without a confirmed body or a confirmed death, his demise will be left out. But now that we got all that out of the way, let's feast on this ranking.
Now, let's eat.
Coming in at number 8 is the double kill of Lonnie and Amy.
Are you ready?
Fucking born ready.
Lonnie here is in the middle of leading an after-school workout with his fellow meatheads when he is lured away from all that testosterone by sexy blonde estrogen, aka his girlfriend Amy, who leads him to a conveniently staged trampoline in the gymnasium. I mean, look, it even comes complete with mood lighting. And while Amy is giving Lonnie a gymnastic striptease, Carver shows up with some physical education and snaps Lonnie's head backwards. Unaware that her boyfriend just got killed, she keeps jumping. That is until she gets killed as well. Now I give this kill props for creativity, and this is one of the kills that came from the original Grindhouse trailer. My one complaint though is that it does feel shoehorned in just because it was probably one of the iconic kills from that original trailer. So it's like you can't not have it in this movie, or else you'd probably piss off a lot of fans going to see it. But yeah, a creatively simple double kill that I just wish didn't feel so forced into the plot. But what can you do?
Are you ready?
Fucking born ready.
I said, are you ready?
Coming in at number 7 is the killing of Evan.
You're going to break the internet.
So right around the halfway point of this movie, Evan and his girlfriend are knocked out and snatched by John Carver, and we don't see them again until the third act, where the remaining cast has all been kidnapped for a very special Thanksgiving feast being thrown by John Carver, which he is also live streaming. So when he goes around the table asking his guests to tell the world what they are thankful for, his first stop is Evan, and Carver tells him that his viral video mocking the Riot rampage inspired him to create his own viral video starring Evan, and that's when Carver proceeds to brain the ever-loving shit out of Evan with a meat tenderizer. Now what I like about this kill is kind of the irony of it, as pointed out by Carver, that because Evan was so worried about going viral with his own video, now he's gonna go viral but in a different way, which I mean he does. I mean, look at all those likes. I wish I got that kind of feedback. But yeah, anyway, this is just a pretty straightforward kill, nothing crazy or outrageous. It just sits one above last because I love the brutality of it.
Stop. Hammer time.
Coming in at number 6 are the 3 that are killed at the Riot Black Friday riot.
This is insane.
So at the very start of this movie, all these crazy ass people have forsaken Thanksgiving in order to storm the gates of Riot to get a free waffle iron. And security and authorities are doing their best to try to calm the mob, but this jackhole Lonnie gets over a megaphone and yells that the store is open. And like a ravenous herd of buffalo, these people break down the barricades and stampede through the front doors. Like literally, they shatter the shatterproof glass and force their way in. And in the process, one dude gets his throat slit on the broken glass badass, and this other poor bastard gets run over and trampled to death. And then there's this poor woman named Amanda who's just trying to get her bearings after being knocked down, but then ends up getting her skull bashed in by a shopping cart being driven by Lizzy. And as these two assholes argue, some of Amanda's hair gets stuck in the cart, and when Lizzy decides to storm off, she incidentally scalps Amanda. Now this riot at the beginning of the movie really sets the tone. It tells you this is going to be dark, violent, but also a little tongue-in-cheek comical. But seriously, this is not that much of an exaggeration of the hostility people exhibit on Black Friday. I mean, my generation lived through the whole Tickle Me Elmo wars, so we know what that's about. So all of this isn't that far off. But yeah, I do feel bad for Amanda, and I feel bad for that security guard that gets trampled, but I do have to laugh at this guy who gets his throat slit, because as dude is dying, he's still going after his free waffle iron, only to have it taken from him. I mean, so close, but damn, so far. Coming in at number 5 is the killing of Manny. So Manny here was one of the security guards on that fateful Thanksgiving night, and when the mob started to go all January 6th, he dipped out like, I ain't getting paid enough for this shit, peace. So fast forward a year later, Manny is about to bounce out of town when he realizes that someone has broken into his apartment. So he nuts up with a baseball bat and calls out the intruder like he's some kind of hard ass from Conneaut.
I'm a security guard. I kill people every fucking day.
I mean, dude, you're a security guard. Ain't nobody buying that shit. Anyways, big boy here gets stabbed in the gut with an electric knife by John Carver, who springs up and wraps razor wire around Manny's neck like a damn ninja, cinches it tight, and decapitates him.
It's a shame he wasn't more headstrong.
Poor Manny here. I mean, as a security guard myself, I know that in that mob situation, there isn't much you can do. So honestly, I probably would have done the same thing he did. But in terms of the kill itself, getting stabbed with an electric knife is bad enough. But then to get beheaded, I mean, damn. But I appreciate the unconventional approach of using a razor wire. It's pretty unique and a weapon you hardly ever see utilized. So yeah, pretty damn cool actually.
He'll never be the head of a major corporation.
Okay, that'll do.
Okay.
Coming in at number 4 is the killing of Lizzy.
This isn't right, my honey. You actually have to wait your turn here.
So Lizzy here is one of the other principal dipshits involved in that Black Friday riot at the beginning, as she's the one responsible for the shopping cart bludgeoning and scalping of Amanda. So a year later, as Lizzy is ending her shift at the diner, she gets attacked by Carver, who slices her hand and then sort of attempts to drown her, but then forces her wet face against a freezer door, freezing her in place so he can try to decapitate her with an axe. But when he goes the chop chop, she rips her face off and is able to move at the last minute. And when she attempts to flee, John appears in a car and goes to run her ass down. But when Lizzy tries to jump in a dumpster for protection, John rams the front of it, causing the dumpster to cut her in half? Okay, I guess. But the cherry on top of all this is that the next day, her lower torso is discovered adorning the top of the local Riot Mart sign for all to see. You know, this is a gruesome death that couldn't have happened to a nicer person.
Suck my dick! What the fuck? I'm getting fucked! Fuck you!
I just love the way it escalates, how it goes from an attempted stabbing to an attempted drowning, and then to an attempted decapitation, and then finally ends in a successful vehicular homicide resulting in her getting cut in half. And then for extra credit, her remains get put on full display for the town. Now normally someone getting their body two-pieced would rank higher, but the circumstances surrounding how Lizzy got cut in half are a little unrealistic and silly, even for this movie. But still, this whole sequence was a lot of fun, and like I said, it was nice seeing this beast get her comeuppance. Kicking off my top 3, at number 3 is the killing of Lionel and this random grandfather guy.
You have a great day! Happy Thanksgiving!
So at this point in the movie, Jessica has had enough of John Carver's shit and has coordinated a plan with her family and the local sheriffs to use the annual Thanksgiving parade as a trap to catch him. But you know, in Plymouth, John Carver is kind of a big deal, so the police have their hands full trying to unmask and identify all the people donning his visage. But in a swerve, the killer isn't dressed like Carver at all, but a psychotic clown, and he chops the head off of Lionel, who's dressed as the school's mascot. And in all that chaos, this poor son of a bitch slams on his brakes, and doing so causes the float which he was towing to break through the back window of his truck and Pinocchio his face. Now this was another kill that was birthed from that original Grindhouse trailer, and even though this is another kill you knew had to be in this movie, I put it over that trampoline one because it doesn't feel as forced in. Plus I love how this gets drawn out with the police stopping all the people wearing the masks. I mean, it's pretty tense. And then comes the swerve with the killer being dressed as a clown instead. And truthfully, when I first saw this movie, that did catch me off guard. But this guy taking the foremask to the back of his head is just joyously brutal. Props to the effects crew on both of these kills. Coming in at number 2 is the killing of Yulia. So after the recent string of murders and attacks on her friends, Yulia's father shows up and tells her that they are moving to Florida, like right now. And later on that night, as they are packing to leave, Carver shows up, incapacitates the sheriff and her father, and while she's on the phone with her boyfriend, Carver appears behind Yulia and stabs her right in the eardrums with corn on the cob holders. So then Yulia's boyfriend Scuba and Jessica arrive and attempt to rescue her. But when Scuba realizes he can't fire his pistol because the safety is on, Carver throws Yulia down onto a table saw, buzzsawing her innards and disemboweling her. Now I remember the corn on the cob part of this kill from the trailer and laughing at it because I legit thought that this is how he was gonna kill her. But little did I know that he was gonna end up New Yankee workshopping her stomach on a table saw. I mean, this is just brutal. And I feel bad for Scuba here too. I mean, it's obvious that after all this, he is just in complete shock and is mentally gone. So much of this movie is the aftermath of those kills and how it affects the survivors who witnessed it at the time. And this is no exception.
Do you have it?
But we are down to our final kill, so that means coming in at number 1 is the killing of Kathleen.
Dinner is served.
So during all the chaos and confusion of the Thanksgiving parade, Kathleen was tranked along with Jessica, Jessica's dad Thomas, and Scuba, and was subsequently kidnapped by the killer. And when she comes to, she's in a basement laid out on a table being prepped as a Thanksgiving meal.
Oh, I'm sure you'll make an excellent dinner, Kathleen.
But when Carver goes to check on the oven, Kathleen slips away and tries to escape the house. But Carver is on her trail trying to track her down, and when Kathleen thinks she's given him the slip, Carver spears her right in the back with a pitchfork, drags her back into the house, locks her in the oven, and cooks her alive. But no, it doesn't really end there, because a short while later, as the rest of his kidnapped guests are gathered around a dinner table to give thanks, or, beg for their lives, Carver unveils their Thanksgiving feast. A fresh from the oven Kathleen that has been decapitated and stuffed, just like Mom used to make. Now this is my favorite kill in the entire movie because it is so outrageously sick and twisted, and once again, it's another kill straight from that original Grindhouse trailer. I love the whole sequence of Kathleen trying to sneak out of the house and being hunted by Carver, and then the capper of being burned or cooked alive is something that I feel is just one of those primal fears that everyone has. But like I said, the second helping of this kill is what pushes this over the top, and that's her being dressed and presented like a Thanksgiving turkey. And poor Thomas here, imagine waking up after being knocked out and you see your spouse being served up as a turkey, and if that's not bad enough, imagine having part of your spouse carved off and then being force-fed to you. This is without question the most warped kill and post-kill in not just this movie, but probably in almost any movie that I've ever seen. And that's why it sits here in this ranking at number 1.
I was just thinking, you and your family could have your own arts festival and include whatever you like to do, such as drawing or dressing up or cooking. There are many ways of saying who you are and how you feel, ways that don't hurt yourself or anybody else. I'm proud of you, you know that. I hope you do.
Well, there you have it. That was my ranking of these kills in this movie based off of nothing but my own personal preference. And please, if you did like the video, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you didn't like the video, well, go make one of your own and GTFO.